Good evening, everyone. I wanted to thank you for joining us and participating in this Work Zone Safety Awareness event. Over the last year, the Ohio Laborers, ODOT, and the Ohio State Highway Patrol have partnered to host a variety of public awareness events regarding distracted driving around our state. And this is our first virtual event, so welcome. The following video is going to give you a taste of what events have looked like in the past and what you'll be experiencing tonight.
In 2018, we had a total of 14 people killed throughout the state as they drove through work zones. We had 4 workers who were killed and 1 ODOT worker, unfortunately, in Northeast Ohio.
In 2017, a driver went through blocked lanes while my husband was working on a construction site right off of I-70.
There were police cars, there were cones, there was all sort of warning signs, and the driver still plowed through.
He was killed on impact. The driver was going between 62 and 70 miles an hour.
Distracted driving in the state of Ohio and the United States in general has become an epidemic. There'd be a lot of times that we'd be working in conjunction with ODOT or local law enforcement to try to get people to slow down, and you pull out in traffic, try to conduct a traffic stop, and all of a sudden somebody's right up on the backside of my patrol car and might try to rear end me, or they don't move over for me when I'm on a traffic stop, and then that could cause a crash.
We just want you to pay attention to what you're doing, slow down and move over, and drive through work zones like someone you love works there, because people we love do.
What we want people to understand is to slow down and pay attention in construction zones. It's important for them to pay attention to the flaggers and the signs and the indicators we have to get them through that zone safely and quickly so they can get to their destination and our workers can get home.
Please, we can't say it enough. Be cognizant of your surroundings at all time. Move over or slow down when you approach roadside workers.
Just be a safer driver. Just be a little patient and everyone will go home safe.
As you saw in the video, I am Bethany Billy, and I'm the Executive Director of Ohio LESIT and represent the Ohio Laborers and the 25,000 men and women who work in construction zones throughout the state. Construction laborers work tirelessly to make Ohio roads, bridges, and other infrastructure safer for everyone. Our question is, who is it making it safer for them while they're there? The answer is hopefully all of us. Work zone safety is not just an issue facing those working on our roads, it is the issue. Like you and me, laborers, ODOT highway technicians, and state troopers all want to make it home to their friends and families at the end of the day. Unfortunately, because distracted driving, that does not always happen. Today, you'll be hearing directly from those who have been impacted by distracted driving. First up, we have Kenny Allen. Kenny is the president and apprenticeship coordinator for Laborers Local 639 in Marietta of Ohio. He has been a member of Local 639 for 27 years and worked in the field for 20 of those years. Hi, Kenny, welcome.
Hi, Beth. Thank you. Like Beth said, I am the president and the field rep and apprentice coordinator for Laborers Local 639 in Marietta. We have about 475 total members is who I represent. Out of that, there's probably about 106 to 108 retirees and about 368 active members. Out of the 368 active members, we probably have the majority of our members working heavy highway this year. And thank goodness that none of ours have been hurt yet. Part of my job is to be out on the road on these job sites, checking on the members and the contractors, making sure that things are safe. I think about 12 years ago, I had a close call with a school bus. I ended up just having to throw my sign down and jump over the guardrail. But like I say, that was a long time ago and things are not getting any better. I would just ask that you please put your cell phone down, slow down. Please pay attention to the signs, to the cones, because you have to remember that of all the men and women who are out there working, that one of them is somebody's husband or father or mother and wife or, son and daughter. And I don't know if we need to widen the safety zones or if we need to keep the flaggers closer to their vehicles where they could get out of the way. I'm not sure what all we need to do, but please just slow down, put your cell phone down, and pay attention to the signs. Thank you.
Thank you, Kenny. I appreciate your insights, and I'm glad you were able to hop over that guardrail. That sounds scary.
Well, I was a lot younger then.
A little bit more spry.
Yeah.
For those of you who've just joined us, we are speaking today about distracted driving and the impact it has on those who are working to keep our roads safe. From what Kenny says, it sounds like Laborers Local 639 in Marietta has been very lucky over the past several years. Unfortunately, other locals throughout the state have not been as fortunate. During these first few months of the construction season, we've already had 2 flaggers who are critically injured in work zone crashes, one out of our Zanesville local and one out of our Ashtabula local. We've also had 2 laborers killed this year already in work zone accidents on the highway, one from our Marion local and one out of our Cleveland local. To give you some perspective on what it's like and what our laborers experience every day, here's a PSA that we are running through the laborers experience.
You name it, it's out here. Impaired drivers, there's people that's texting, there's people that's not paying attention, not courteous. If you was to drive my project out here and see this barrier wall moved instead of being in a straight line, that's where an accident happened. This is my office, this is my safe space. From that wall to here is me. And if I have to be out there, I've got myself covered with law enforcement and plenty of advance warning so I can go home and so you can go home. Safer roads, save lives.
My takeaway from that PSA is when Dave said that the barrier walls, every time you see them moved, that means that there's been an accident or a car has hit that barrier wall. So that means there's so many close calls, if you notice. Unfortunately, close calls and fatalities are all too common these days. And oftentimes we don't really understand the impact that those close calls and fatalities have on the families. Linda Cook is here to share her story about the impact distracted driving had on her and her family. Hi, Linda. Welcome.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thank you.
My husband, he was heavy highway construction worker. He built roads around Columbus area for the state of Ohio. September 30th, 2017, there was an intruder that came in their blocked zone. There was a cruiser at the bottom of the ramp. There was cones and barrels, and the driver went through all that he passed 2 rollers and went behind a paver and killed my husband, Steve, on impact. Supposedly the driver was going between 62 and 70 miles an hour. Now he was texting and he had left a bar. He was drunk. He was under the influence of drugs and alcohol. Now, what I want to get through to everybody in the public that drives is please, please don't drink and drive and don't text and drive. That's my husband. I will never get him back. He's lost a lot of, we've lost him. The family is still heartbroken. It's almost been 3 years. My goal is to get the message out there that these are humans. These are people that have loved ones at home. They want to go home to their family like everybody else does, and they're just out there doing their job. Everybody wants the roads to be better. We want to be able to drive on them, and that's all they're doing out there is fixing our roads that we need to drive on. It was a senseless act. He should have never got killed. He was only doing his job, and he loved doing his job. Our lives are very fragile. And our lives are short besides being killed before your time. So my message is, let's just be a safer driver. Let's just be considerate and patient out there and just respect the heavy highway construction workers and all road crew workers out there, because there is plenty of road crews out there fixing a lot of roads right now, and all of them want to go home to their families. Thank you.
Thanks, Linda. We really appreciate you sharing your story, and we know how impactful it is. And we know that you're doing a lot to get the word out. Can you tell us some of the things that you've been doing to get the word out about Steve's story and share about distracted driving and impaired driving?
Yes, well, I do speeches like this as much as possible when we're able to do that. I don't hesitate because I want to save another life out there. I'm doing this for everybody out there now. I put up billboards in his honor. I was trying to think of a way, how can I get the impact to the public that's out there driving? And a billboard is big and bright and bold, and a lot of people look at them. So I've placed many of those in the states of Ohio, West Virginia, and Pennsylvania. And I get impact, and a lot of people tell me that they've seen them. So that means it's doing something. I also have the Steve Story in the SAD program in the West Virginia High County school systems. SAD is Students Against Drunk Drivers. That these young kids are learning to drive and they want to know the rules of how to drive. So those are young minds, and that's where we need to start. We need to start with the young minds to know that these are human beings out there fixing our roads, and we need to be cautious around that.
Absolutely. You do a lot of great work, and we always appreciate you coming and supporting our causes and our events. So thank you very much, Linda. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Before our next speaker, I just want to take a quick second to welcome those of you who have joined our virtual work zone safety event, where we'll be speaking with those members of our community who have been impacted by distracted driving. Our next speaker is TJ Edgel, who is a highway technician who works out of ODOT's Belpre Outpost in Washington County. He's been with ODOT since 2015 as a highway technician. He is responsible for snow and ice removal, mowing, tree trimming, pothole patching, and many other maintenance responsibilities. TJ's married with 2 children and 1 granddaughter. Hi, TJ, welcome.
Hi, thank you. Well, I just want to say thank you for you guys for making the public aware of the crisis that's looming. It's something that's really, really weights on a lot of people's minds when we're out there in work zones. Here a few months ago, I was mowing on I-77, mowing in the median, and our tractors are pretty good sized tractors. You can't miss them. A person was in the, we call it hammer lane, left lane, turned her head for a split second, and next thing you know, she's up against my mower. And, luckily, no injuries. She wasn't hurt, kind of tore up her car a little bit, but lesson learned. Shannon just passed me something here a minute ago. We've had 2 hit and skips in District 10 in the last week in work zones. Ashley and I were talking the other day. There was 20 crashes that you see here in the state of Ohio this year. It's a bad situation when somebody's not paying attention or texting or under the influence or, just distracted. Your main objective out there when you're behind the wheel of a vehicle is to drive that vehicle, nothing else.
Totally. And it's crazy to think that you guys are just out there doing your jobs, and like all of us are, and we want to come home at the end of the day. And, my biggest thing that I have to deal with is maybe a paper cut, not, like a 100-pound, I don't even know how much a car weighs, more than 100 pounds, obviously, 100-ton car coming at me going 70 miles an hour. I can't imagine. Do you deal with close calls often? Was that your first close call? Yeah.
No, it's not the first one. I've been put flagging in the ditch before. You just and they screech past you. There's a lot of things, and you always get the same thing. Well, I didn't see you.
Well, what do you think are some of the things you can do that can, to try and prevent these?
I don't know. We do everything we can to prevent things like this. I mean, our signage, we stand out in the open. You do everything you can, and people just don't pay attention.
Well, and that's why we're here today. We're trying to educate the public and trying to let them know, when you do see road crews, when you do see ODOT workers, when you do see state troopers, the law actually is to slow down and move over. So thanks for being here today, TJ. I really appreciate it. Like I said, it's important that we recognize everyone who's working on these roads to keep them safe, even our first responders, many who have also been impacted by distracted or impaired drivers.
Should I do the intro first?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, okay.
What do you want me to do? Cut!
There's been times that I've felt the wind from the car across my back.
I was a firefighter and I was taking care of a patient, and this private garbage truck flew by me. It was so close that I looked up and I saw this guy laughing. If I'd have stumbled, I would have been dead.
Really anybody that's stopped on the side of the road becomes a hazard to everybody that's out there.
We put the signs and cones out for a reason, and please move over and slow down till you get past and through our zone.
When you slow down and move over, you're not only ensuring that I go home safely, but you're ensuring the stability of my family.
We're all neighbors. When we're out in the work zone and you see me, think of me as your neighbor.
Hi, I'm Lieutenant Shad Kaplinger of the Ohio State Highway Patrol Lancaster Post. Moving over and slowing down is our law, and it's also the right thing to do. Help protect those protecting you.
Like the PSA said, help those who help protect you. Our next speaker is one of those who is helping protect you. Sergeant Eric Knowlton is the Assistant Post Commander at the Marietta Ohio State Highway Patrol Post. He has been with the Ohio State Highway Patrol since 2004, and in his 15th year of service, while he was on the job in his cruiser, he was was hit by a semi-truck while he was conducting a routine traffic stop on Highway 77. Here's Sergeant Knowlton to tell us his story. Welcome, Sergeant.
Hello. Yeah, like Bethany said, I was on Interstate 77 2019, struck by a semi. The estimated speed was 56 miles an hour. Sitting in the cruiser on a traffic stop, issuing a citation. Actually had the subject in the vehicle with me whenever the crash occurred. Ended up having several injuries. Had a fracture in my left ankle. My left knee, fracture in my right ankle, and recently I actually just had surgery on my right knee. I had a meniscus tear, which was unrepairable. So still today, I'm going through everything that occurred that day. They had to land a helicopter there to fly me out. I was stuck in my car for about an hour while they had to cut me out. And had to go through a lot of training and dealing with the mental stress that it occurred. Still, like I said, today, still going through it all today. So it's been a rough time. My family's been very supportive, coworkers very supportive, and I may get teased by still being on light duty today, but that's why I'm not in uniform now, because I had the injury and the surgery just a couple weeks ago. So it's been a trying time. Definitely make sure you move over, slow down for whenever you see those flashing lights out there. Everybody just wants to go home and be with their loved ones at the end of the day.
Seeing your cruiser in that photo, it's a miracle. I can't believe it. I'm really glad that you're still here. You mentioned the slow down, move over law. Do you find that most people adhere to that? Do you think they know it's a law?
Believe it or not, most people realize that it is a law. It is in all 50 states. And we're seeing more people get over today than what we normally see or what we've seen in the past. Every once in a while, we still have some that fail to move over. And it's amazing the way the car shakes whenever somebody goes by you 70 miles an hour. Even in the left lane, it still rocks the vehicle back and forth. So you can imagine whenever they get closer and closer, and we're usually only just a few feet from that white line on the side of the road.
That's wild. I really can't even imagine having a car fly past me at 70 miles per hour. We did a PSA where I was standing in a work zone, but I was even super far away from the highway and I still felt it. I can't imagine being right there and have people just flying by you. So thank you for your service and all that you do. We really appreciate you coming out tonight.
Thank you.
Finally, I want to welcome those of you who have joined us again. If you would like to hear from some of the speakers that you may have missed sharing their experience with distracted driving, you can watch a replay of our event here once we conclude our broadcast, or you can go over to ODOT District 10's Facebook page where it will also be broadcast. Our final speaker of the evening is Lieutenant Chris Chizar. He is the post commander of the Marietta Post that covers Washington and Morgan counties, located in Southeast Ohio. Lieutenant Chizar has been the Ohio State Highway Patrol since 1997, and he's here a little bit to tell us a little bit more about the slow down, move over law.
Thanks, Bethany, and thanks to you that are tuned in. It shows your interest in taking care of our workers that are out on the road, trying to provide safe travels for you. We appreciate that, and we hope that you can pass on the message to your friends, family, that it is important to pay attention to what you're doing and to move over. You know, we are fortunate that ODOT is fortunate, and the construction workers are fortunate. They have warning signs that they're able to put out, etc., cones and stuff like that. But sometimes, like when TJ's out there, signs will be out. He won't have much protection, just like us when we're stopped at the vehicle with our lights on over the roadway. So it's imperative that everyone pays attention to those signs and the flashing lights. And when you do see them, for example, if TJ was in a median, you would have to move to the right lane. You're required by law to move to the opposite lane if you can, and if you can't get over, you're required to slow down. So although it is law, it is common sense and it is common courtesy to everybody that's out there working, trying to help you get to where you need to be and protecting the roadways as well. The law, like Eric said earlier, is in all 50 states. There's signs posting it in Washington County in various locations that says slow down, move over for flashing lights. It's for all workers that are out there. It's construction workers, it's troopers, it's sheriff's deputies, it's tow truck drivers. If there's flashing lights on the berm or on the median, you need to move over for them, or if not, slow down. We can't stress that enough. Since 2015 to 2019, there were 49 crashes involving troopers for people not moving over. Since that time, we've had over 23,400 some citations where we've issued to people through the state of Ohio for not moving over. We try to work with ODOT when they're working like TJ might be working, where there's no lane closure, and be present in the area and watching for people not getting over. Or we may work in tandem to see that people aren't getting over for those that are people that are not getting over for other troopers that are stopped. So we can educate them that, hey, you're required to move over and it's a responsible thing to do. So initiatives are out there. We're looking for the violations. We hope not to see any because they're not occurring. But like Eric said, more people are moving over, and we do appreciate that. And we need them to pass the word that it is you are required to move over or slow down.
How do you enforce the law? Like, you know, if TJ had someone pulled over and someone, I'm sorry, not TJ, if Eric did, if TJ, wow. If Eric had someone pulled over and then someone flew by him, you know, he wouldn't leave that stop to go stop that person. How do you end up enforcing?
Correct. So I would be observing it if I was working with Eric that day, and I could clearly see, and Eric would confirm, no, that person didn't get over. There's times where you're walking back from the violator's car back to your car, and people aren't getting over. And you know, my driver's side is right on the line most of the time, so I'm pretty close to the line. So there's times where I'm getting ready to let a person go from a traffic stop, and I'll go run the person down and stop them myself. Or like I said, if I'm working in tandem with another trooper, if I see the violation, we'll stop them.
In my role with the Ohio Laborers, I do travel the state a lot, and I noticed some people do slow down and move over, but a lot still don't. Are you doing any sort of, public outreach, or how do you get the word out that it is a law now?
Well, just last week, we had a 6-state trooper project where states surrounding Ohio, including Ohio, participated in concentrating on those that were not moving over. That was broadcasted through the media. We let the people know that, hey, we're looking for that. I know I saw it in the local newspaper, at home, on the radio station, etc. So we are broadcasting that it is a law and expect for people to move over. And like I said, it's just a matter of common sense and common courtesy to everybody.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, and stay safe out there. We appreciate you participating.
Thank you, Bethany. We appreciate you letting us join this conversation and share the important message for all people that are working on the roadway.
Absolutely. Thanks so much. All right. Well, that brings us to an end of our virtual work zone safety awareness event. I hope it was informative and impactful, and that you think of Linda and Steve, TJ and Sergeant Knowlton the next time you're driving through a work zone past construction workers, ODOT highway technicians, and our state highway patrol troopers on the road. Please remember to slow down and move over. Put down your phones, pay attention, and do not drive impaired. If you'd like more information, please go to the link that you can see here online. And thanks again, everyone.